Hey guys, Fantastic Four First Steps finally dropped and I've already seen the movie. This was one of the most anticipated films of the year and now it's finally time for me to share how I truly felt while watching it. Don't worry, I won't drop any spoilers in this video. I'll just share everything I felt while seeing the new Fantastic Four and what my experience was like watching this latest Marvel flick. Despite the awful productions Marvel has had in recent years, is Fantastic Four actually good? Is it the best Fantastic Four movie? Did Marvel nailed it, or was it just another huge waste of characters? Stick around in this video and I'll spill it all for you now. So first things first, I want to answer right off the bat. Comic Chronicles, is the movie good? You might be wondering. Yes, dude, Fantastic Four First Steps is a fantastic movie in my opinion. And we finally have a Fantastic Four that really honors what the comics are all about. The dynamic between them is amazing. You totally buy the idea that they're actually a family, and they have such great synchronization and teamwork. It's like watching the X-Men in action, or in the case of DC, Justice League or Teen Titans for example. They've got their movements down pat, and the team dynamic is really solid. You totally get the feeling that they can handle anything thrown their way. So on that front, the movie scoring a 10, they work really well together, and they definitely deserve that. Now, is the movie perfect? Well, I can't say that. It's really good, but I left the theater feeling like it could have been better, you know? Some characters could have had a bit more personality. I'll dive into more details soon without spoiling anything, and besides some characters, I also wish there was something more during the final battle. There were some characters who unfortunately felt toned down compared to what they've done in the comics, but overall, it's still a good flick. I'd say they played it safe in producing this film without taking too many risks. I kinda get why that might be the case since we're talking about a team that had two attempts by Fox that didn't pan out, which are the two early 2000s films and that awful live action from 2015. Fantastic Four First Steps adapts the essence of the comics really well, giving you a backdrop of who they are, how long they've been around, and their impact on the world in a very swift and dynamic way. It was even a bit frantic in my opinion. And all these contexts I've mentioned are true homages to the classic comics from the 60s, so if you're a fan of the Fantastic Four comics, you're gonna enjoy this movie. You can go to this theater with confidence.
This is something that makes me really happy. Once again, we're getting a movie that isn't afraid to be a superhero movie. Guys, the time when every superhero movie had to be realistic and dark is kinda over, don't you think? If it's a superhero flick, an adaptation of comics, it can't be embarrassed of what it is. And once again, Marvel got it right here. Dude, the whole atmosphere, the settings, this totally retro futuristic world, that was a huge draw for this film. And at the same time, in my opinion, it was its Achilles heel too. The movie feels super fast-paced, and you just want to see more of this universe, want to get to know the other elements, the character arcs that come with this alternative universe. And since the movie goes by quickly, you end up feeling like you wanted to see more of that, you know? They don't waste time explaining origins or showing the world's reaction to a group of people with superpowers. Quite the opposite. The film establishes that they're already known, and humanity trusts, supports, and loves the Fantastic Four. Don't worry, this isn't a spoiler, you can see that in the trailers. And it was another great decision in this production, because this way you're free to tell a story with a solid beginning, middle, and end without having to retell an origin that's already well embedded in the public's imagination. I mentioned this in my videos about the Superman film, and I'll repeat it here. The movie gives you the same feeling as picking up a comic book issue of any number and just showing you an adventure. It's that simple. It's a tightly wrapped film. You don't have to watch all the other MCU movies and shows to understand this one. It isn't tied down by references to the Avengers, Thanos, the Blip, the Battle of New York, or any other major events in the Secret Timeline, since we're talking about a different universe, one with its own identity, and you're just left wanting to explore it even more, because it's that good. Marvel nailed it again by finding a way to approach the multiverse without cramming in versions from old film just for fan service. That was done really well. Now, talking about the performances, man, Vanessa Kirby steals the show as Sue Storm. She's absolutely incredible in the film and gives us a well-developed Sue Storm.
Sue is a character that's explored deeply in the story. She's a key piece in the plot, and she's portrayed in the film as that type of character who handles public and political relations in the world. Remember the old X-Men films by Fox, where Jean Grey was always in Congress and political meetings whenever mutants were the topic? Here, we have a Sue Storm who's also involved, negotiating and exuding confidence. And of course, her main job in this story is to be a great mom. Not just of Franklin Richards, but in how she wants to protect and care for everyone without anyone needing to sacrifice anything. That was really good. I can't leave out Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards. Despite the criticism that arose when the casting was announced, dude, Pedro delivers a great performance as Reed. He gets that the movie isn't just about him and brings a Reed Richards that's true to the comics. You might disagree with me after watching the film, but I got the impression that this Reed Richards has proven to be smarter than Tony Stark, played by Robert Downey Jr. Reed really helps make the world a bit safer and even had a crazy idea to protect Earth from Galactus. The time travel Tony Stark achieved with the help of Professor Hulk was cool, but Reed's idea to stop Galactus was insane. It's totally absurd to think about his genius. The only downside for Reed Richards in this movie is that he's kind of toned down when it comes to his elastic powers. Marvel could have been bolder in exploring Reed's ability to stretch, and the film ends without showcasing any truly amazing feats from Mr. Fantastic. The Thing was a character that as soon as I left the theater, I felt like there was a lack of exploration regarding his side of feeling like a monster and feeling bad about his appearance and everything. But after reflecting more on the movie, I understood the proposal better and bought into the idea. We're not talking about Ben Grimm in his early days of The Thing. He's had time to come to terms with a change in his life, and people love him. Kids are fans of The Thing and even wear masks of him, so it's a new take on The Thing in cinemas. And after thinking more about it, I came to really like how he's portrayed in the film. Zhao Bao as the Silver Surfer was a surprise to me in the movie. I didn't expect much from the character, and she surprised me. She has a really solid and well-resolved arc in the story, and without a doubt, she will develop much more than Silver Surfer in the old Fantastic Four. She truly brings that imposing presence and conveys a threat as soon as she arrives on Earth out of nowhere to announce Galactus, and her character's development arc up to the conclusion was really well done. I really liked her, and if you were one of those who criticized her when she appeared in the trailers, give her a chance and watch the film, because she's a great character. And while we're on the topic of villains, we gotta talk about Galactus, and dude, he looks incredible. It's surreal how badass this Galactus is in this film. Finally, we have a threatening Galactus who resembles the comics. He's not just a cloud. It was a great decision to bring Galactus as the main villain of the plot, and he really gives off that danger vibe from start to finish. He's one of the best villains in the entire MCU. It's genuinely amazing. The only downside, in my opinion, is that he could have been bigger in some moments. In the comics, Galactus can alter his size and form whenever he wants and needs to. His scenes are great, but I feel like he could have been bigger than he was in some parts. It would have made him even more threatening if he did that. And of course, when he enters Earth, he could have shrunken down a bit to appear just like he did in the film. However, there's one character who, despite being super good and true to the comics, I feel like didn't have their full potential realized, and that's the Human Torch. Joseph Quinn absolutely nailed it as Johnny Storm, and he really embodies who Johnny is in the comics. He plays a pivotal role in the story. His scenes are great, but I felt like he wasn't as loose in the plot. Even so, he definitely has some fantastic moments.
The CGI of the film looks pretty solid, even though there's a moment or two where you can notice something off, but overall it's really good, and that's another win for Marvel. The movie has an interesting pace in my opinion. It slows down a bit around the middle, but it doesn't slow down to the point of being bad. It just isn't frantic anymore. And so some of my opinion on the movie overall, I also feel like there could have been more epic scenes in the final battle, some shots that would have knocked my socks off. There are some of those at the beginning when they reference the comics, but by the end, I felt like there were a few more truly stunning frames missing from the final battle.
that jaw-dropping kind of shot, you know? But the movie makes up for it with a strongly cohesive battle in terms of teamwork, and it was a satisfying ending for me, despite what I said. Oh, before I forget, the film has 2 post-credit scenes, and one of them is sure to get fan hyped. If you're the type who follow the leaks and rumors about this movie, you probably already know what I'm talking about. But if not, I'm sure you'll enjoy the post-credits. But don't focus solely on what the post-credits are. Focus on the experience the movie can provide. It's a well-crafted film, a well-told story that ultimately revolves around family, about a mother and son, and it's definitely worth seeing in theaters. I'm giving it a 7.5 out of 10, and could it have been better? Yes, it could, but undoubtedly, it's the best Fantastic Four we've gotten so far, and it's a movie that entertains while also conveying a sense of threat from the antagonist, and it brings a great family and team dynamic too, along with a fantastic soundtrack by Michael Giacchino, yes, the same composer for the Batman soundtrack. Have you seen Fantastic Four First Steps? Did you like the film? What rating would you give it from 0 to 10? Please comment down below. I'm already checking the comments, and don't forget to leave your fantastic like, your fantastic subscription, and hit that fantastic bell so you don't miss anything about superheroes, and stay updated. I'll leave 2 recommended videos for you if you enjoyed the film. They're made just for you if you're into Marvel and Fantastic Four. Thank you so much for being here in this video. I'll see you next time.